Are you looking for the best Sony phones? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best phones on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Sony Xperia 1V. The big hitter of this list is the Sony Xperia 1V, which is easily the best overall Sony phone in 2024. This flagship device takes inspiration from some of the brand's iconic cameras, offering something that is ideal for the amateur photographer who doesn't want to have to lug a DSLR camera around to take a few nice shots. It's a nice looking bit of kit, too, with a streamlined design that stands out from the crowd without a wacky colorway. Combining a dazzling 6.5-inch 120Hz 4K HDR OLED display and a 5000 mAh battery offers you hours of quality streaming and gaming without having to worry about lowering the brightness or racing for a charger. However, it is worth mentioning that one of the caveats here is a slightly slow rate of charging, so be prepared to plug it in before you go to bed each night. This handset is available in 3 colors, black, green, and silver, and supports the latest Android 14 software. Unfortunately, it isn't going to go any further than that, but we're not expecting Android 15 for quite some time yet. The caveat to the Sony Xperia 1V is that it's eye-wateringly expensive, going for a similar price to the Samsung S23 Ultra and iPhone 15 Pro Max. Still, if you're determined to own the best of the best Sony phones, then you're going to have to part with your cash and pick up this one. At number 2. Sony Xperia 10-4. If you don't have all the money in the world to spend on a new device, our pick for the best budget Sony phone is the Sony Xperia 10-4. The 10V is newer, but considering that the device has little over its predecessor, we're opting for this one for the time being. Arriving with a 5000 mAh battery, this is a budget phone that lasts much longer than many at the same price point, capable of going for up to 48 hours if you're not using it for more than the essentials. However, it's not the quickest in the charging department, so it's always worth taking charging equipment with you if you opt to use this phone on your travels. All in all, the 10-4 offers a solid battery and bright OLED screen at an impressive price point, with colorway options including black, white, green, and lavender. Still, there are caveats, and if you're looking for something with super fast charging or an impressive set of cameras, you may need to think about looking elsewhere or holding off until you've got a higher budget. At number 3. Sony Xperia Pro-I. If you're looking for a Sony phone with the best camera, look no further than the Xperia Pro-I. However, with its professional-grade camera, you do need a little bit of photography knowledge to make sure this phone hits its full potential. With a telephoto lens and the choice between f/2.0 and f/4.0 apertures on the main camera, it feels more like a camera with a phone attached to it than anything else. But how long can you use this device out in the wild without needing a charge? Well, it houses a 4500 mAh battery, which isn't quite as good as the 10-4 and the 1V, but can still give you about 6 to 7 hours of screen time each day. This will, of course, go down much quicker if you're snapping a lot of images. Finally, this phone has a beautiful 6.5-inch 4K HDR OLED screen with a 120Hz refresh rate, so your pictures will really pop, and any games are going to look great. It only comes in frosted black but does look very sleek in this colorway. At number 4. Sony Xperia 5-4. If you're looking for a Sony phone with a dazzling display, the Xperia 5-4 is exactly that. Despite being a little older than some of the other devices on this list, you would hardly be able to tell when watching videos, video calling your friends, or playing intense mobile games. It's crystal clear, better even than the same generation of iPhone or Google Pixel device. Better still is the battery life, with this phone capable of lasting up to 2 days without charge if you're not using it for anything too demanding. If you are, though, you can soon get it back to 100% with a full charge requiring just under 2 hours if you're using all the official equipment. Throw in wireless charging, and you've got a device that is rarely going to run flat. There is one drawback, though, in that the cameras here just aren't up to much. Worse still, there are plenty of reports suggesting that using the camera can lead to some issues with overheating, and considering you have to hold the device to take pictures, you can imagine how troublesome that can become. At number 5. Sony Xperia 1-3. With its 2021 debut, the Sony Xperia 1 III is far from new. But, if you're not particularly interested in keeping up with the latest hardware and software options, it's still a great option to consider thanks to its fantastic battery and truly astonishing 4K 120Hz display on a 6.5-inch OLED screen. With those specs in mind, and despite the fact that it's an older model, it's still worth bearing in mind that this is by no means a cheap option. In fact, you can buy brand new phones from competitive brands like Xiaomi for hundreds of dollars less. Still, if you're committed to the Sony Xperia brand, this model demands your attention. In addition to its display, its battery is pretty top of the range and also comes with an extremely handy 3.5mm headphone port too. Bingo!